A gadfly is a large fly that bothers cows and makes them wag their tails. And if it wasn't for the gadflies making the cows wag their tails, the cows would just eat and drop dead. So I think there's a place for gadflies. Gadflies are the people that get us sometimes to look at issues a little differently.
I like Ron Paul.
Ron Paul's been extremely consistent.
I really did want to see Ron Paul.
The ones that have seemed to have drawn the most attention from the purple staters are these candidates like a Ron Paul.
Why I'm hesitant to just stick to Obama is because the next person that I would support in all of this is Ron Paul. He's a Republican. So Obama's my number one, but Ron Paul's my number two. I like Ron Paul a lot. I like the things he has to say.
What are your views and policies on subsidizing ethanol farmers?
Under the Constitution, there's no authority to take money from one group of people and give it to another group of people for so-called economic benefits. I don't think we should do that. And besides, bureaucrats and the politicians don't know how to invest money. And then that money gets invested for political reasons rather than for economic reasons. I think there's a chance that you might get more ethanol if you raised hemp.
The Treasury Department says we're going to pay $430 billion on interest on the debt. How long can we live like this?
Until the day that foreigners turn against us. There's another number. We pay $1.4 billion every day for interest, same type of figure that you mentioned. That money has to come from foreigners. We can't even pay the interest. We can't afford the war. So we're nearing that end.
We just don't know exactly when it'll come. But if you do the wrong thing, it's going to last for a long time. The boom period comes when they just pour out easy credit, and it teaches people to do the wrong things. There's a lot of malinvestment, debt that goes in the wrong directions. Consumers do the wrong things, and businessmen do the wrong thing. And the longer you delay the recession, the worse the recession is. And we've delayed a serious recession for a long time.
He's the only one that's willing to say the things that I think. Ron Paul says what I feel. Analyzing the news that I get, I feel that he's saying the truth about the fallen dollar, borrowing from the Chinese. I mean, these are facts that I analyze and come up with the same answers.
But, you know, it's just like it typically is. Nobody wants to agree with him because he's the one who is so far from what the Republicans stand for.
Are you suggesting the Republicans should write me off because I'm a strict constitutionalist? I'm the most conservative member here. I have voted, you know, against more spending and wasting government than anybody else.
They accused him, like they always do, of being a crackpot and a crazy and dismissing all of his ideas offhand and not considering anything he has to say as relevant.
The toughest questions, the snarkiest questions from a reporter to a candidate end up benefiting the candidate if they answer it well. And so, you know, I heard all the Ron Paul fans booing me for asking him about his viability and his electability. The truth of the matter is he hit it out of the park.
Who do you think came out on top?
I kind of thought Ron Paul did, to be honest with you.
I did too.
You know, just by his attitude about the whole thing. You know,
The cheese stands alone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just one of those things where he doesn't play reindeer games.
Right.
He doesn't need to jump on the bandwagon to assert his position.
Let me see if I get this right. We need to borrow $10 billion from China, and then we give it to Musharraf, who's a military dictator who overthrew an elected government, and then we go to war, we lose all these lives promoting democracy in Iraq. I mean, what's going on here?
Probably one of the worst things that we have done is go to war without a declaration of war. We've been doing that since World War II, and we haven't won a war since then. I think this is the reason why young people come in. They don't like the war, and they know that I am determined, and they know that even the Democrats aren't very determined.
Would you consider running as an independent if you don't get the Republican nomination?
I've answered this question quite a few times. I have no plans to do it. Some parties have asked me about it, and I have no plans and no intention of doing it. I'm very much involved in the middle of primaries that are going on.
I like Ron Paul. I'm not sure he could really bring the country together, but I'm sure a lot of the things he says are true.
So if it came down to Hillary
and Ron Paul, you would definitely vote for Ron Paul.
Oh, yeah. I feel like, you know, even if he didn't get in, I'd be voting for the right guy. I mean, I'm not here to vote for the person that I think is going to win. That defeats the whole thing.